Blacktail is a charming and immersive action-adventure role-playing game, taking players on a journey through a magical realm filled with beautiful scenery, wildly different character personalities, and childlike adventures. In the game, players take on the role of Yaga, a young girl who has been accused of witchcraft and exiled from her village after her sister goes missing. Believed to be a servant of the woodland witch Baba, Yaga is left with no choice but to embark on a quest to find her sister, armed with a bow, some magical powers, and a mask. As Yaga sets out on her journey, she comes across the magical hut that is central to the myth of Baba Yaga. A voice speaks to her about the choices between light and dark, and she embarks on a journey through a magical world full of strange creatures and visual narratives. The story is told in increments, gradually revealing more information as the player progresses through the game. Along the way, Yaga encounters a variety of interesting characters, such as a termite queen and talking mushrooms who offer quests. The overall tone of the game is reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland, with a sense of wonder and strangeness throughout. The story of Blacktail is broken up by side-scrolling platforming sections that act as a replacement for traditional event scenes, helping to uncover the detailed story while keeping players engaged. The game world is filled with a variety of creatures and locations, each with their own unique characteristics and challenges. As players progress through the game, they will uncover Yaga's lost memories and the mystery of what happened to her sister. The narrative of Blacktail is told through the environments and dialogue, and players have the ability to make choices that affect the story. The game is rich in mythology and folklore, and the beautifully realized locations, filled with a wide variety of flora and fauna, bring the world to life. The use of bold colors and stunning particle effects further enhance the visual appeal of the game. One of the key features of Blacktail is its morality system, which allows players to make decisions that affect the story and how they are perceived by other characters in the game. Players can follow either the dark or the light path, and their actions will influence their standing. For example, players may be faced with the decision of whether to feed a hungry hedgehog or let it starve. This moral standing also affects the skills that are available to the player, with different magic spells becoming accessible depending on the path chosen. Players can see their moral standing on the screen as they play, and they can also review their most recent actions to understand how they are faring. In addition to the morality system, Blacktail also includes survival elements that require players to hunt for food and craft consumables. Players must search each area for materials such as wood and feathers to make arrows, and they must also find ingredients for potions. Players can also hunt deer for meat, and there is a mini-game for cooking that allows players to achieve temporary status effects. If players cook well, they may gain faster movement or regenerative powers, but if they cook poorly, they may poison themselves or become confused. While these mechanics can add depth and challenge, some players may find them frustrating, particularly the largely unnecessary cooking minigame and the limited inventory system. Blacktail is an FPS that allows players to move around the world, crouch for stealth, and run as needed. There is some climbing and jumping involved, but these elements are fairly standard for this genre. Combat requires players to use a range of weapons and abilities, including Yaga's bow, magical broom, and mystical powers. These abilities can be upgraded through the acquisition of skills, which can be found in the world or purchased with currency obtained from defeating enemies and completing quests. The game takes some time to teach players its various mechanics, including crafting, hunting, cooking, using magic abilities, and expanding the inventory. While some of these mechanics become more intuitive with time, others, such as crafting and cooking, feel convoluted and difficult to navigate. The combat system is also challenging, with a limited number of arrows and a lack of breaks for inventory management or crafting during fights. Boss battles are particularly difficult and require a lot of preparation and skill. The game does offer accessibility options, however, allowing players to switch between normal and easy difficulties if they find the game too challenging. Despite the engaging world and challenging gameplay, Blacktail has some elements that may be frustrating for players. For example, the modern writing and accents may not seem in keeping with the era depicted in the game, and the unskippable cutscenes and off-kilter save points can be annoying. Players can additionally get stuck in a save loop if they don't have an antidote for poison. Despite these issues, Blacktail shines in its art direction. It is a visually stunning game with lush colors and impressive character designs. The dilapidated architecture and colorful landscapes create a unique atmosphere, and the character design is creepy and fitting for the environment. The magical creatures and environments are particularly noteworthy, and the overall design encourages exploration of every corner of the world. The sound design, including the score and voice acting, is also well done and enhances the game's immersive qualities. It will likely take around 15 hours to complete Blacktail, but there are plenty of side missions and other content to keep players engaged for longer. Despite some gameplay and narrative issues, Blacktail is a well-rounded and enjoyable RPG that offers a familiar story set in a unique and imaginative world. The voice acting is exceptional, and the colorful and vibrant environment is a treat to explore. Players who enjoy combat, puzzles, and moral choice will likely find a lot to love in Blacktail.